Let's rock and roll, boys.
Hello and welcome to another Nintendo podcast, the weekly-ish podcast that we're bringing to you today, this week, a few weeks after the last couple ones, but we are happy to be here. I am Austin Cummings, and today, and I am joined by Matt Schultz.
Hey there, Austin.
And also Andrew Watson. Hey, thank you both for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem. How's it going, man?
You know what? It goes well. Boys, we're going to start this episode off as we always have for longtime listeners of the show. Hi, Mother, first of all. And secondly, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been playing. So, Matt, tell me about you.
Well, I've been playing a lot of Mario Party. It's been a ton of fun. Have a lot of coworkers. We all live near one another, including our supervisor. And our supervisor actually got it mailed to them to our office's local Amazon locker.
Oh, right. Those are nice. The pickup.
And they got it that day and were basically asked all of his subordinates, hey, I'm coming over. We're playing tonight. And we've been doing that for we've had at least 4 sessions together. And it's been
That's nice.
A ton of fun. So looking forward to talking about that.
Let me talk about something also relevant and important there. The Amazon locker experience. Have you all had that before? Have you all done that? Andrew, do you got to go somewhere? Making that face? You got to go pick up something?
No, I thought there's a car alarm going off outside.
I think it's fun. I think it adds a little texture to the show, and that's what we're all about. Texture.
Real,
we're talking about
it's
grit.
real
We're talking
life.
sandpaper. Yeah, this is real life, baby. We're not fooling here. Let's talk about the Amazon locker. Have you guys been to that? Have you been to the one on Southwest Jackson Street, Andrew?
No. Is it like a...
It's nice. It's like a little... It's got these
a store?
lockers. Well, it's not a store like a convention.
Like a locker?
You can't buy things. Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, That's our show. It's neat though because it's like, listen, I buy a lot. There's a lot of things I enjoy in this life that are I like to consider collectible-ish in nature, right? But as such, I'm also cursed with this feeling of each thing that I get, the imperfections I just can't let go of ever. Any item I have, I can tell you what it is that just drives me insane. Not a problem. It's not been clinically diagnosed, but it might be a reality. But in any event, one thing I enjoy because I play the digital games, okay?
Right.
I don't have any kind of a physical thing to go along with it. And so something I like is the occasional art book. But sometimes I'll get an art book and it'll come and there'll be like a tear in it or like a big dent. That
You gotta
thing's going
send
right
that
back.
thing back.
And if you take it to the Amazon locker, there's no shipping, no hassle, no problem. Amazon locker.
That's great.
Check
I
out
use Amazon lockers here a ton. So we actually have a Whole Foods right on campus here. Chicago's got Amazon stores everywhere. We literally have a locker in the grocery store, and down the block is an official Amazon store, or not store, but an Amazon pickup drop-off location.
I'll allow it.
Where you stop by, you scan your QR code, and then magically one of the doors opens up.
Right.
It's very cool. In fact, the day that Mario Party came out, one of the downsides I think of the game is that you can only play with Joy-Cons, and I desperately wanted some new colorful Joy-Cons for this game so I could have people over. Was able to buy them that morning, and they showed up at the Amazon locker just like 2 blocks away from me. And I just walked over, picked them up, and I was ready for game night.
Let's hear it for Jeff.
Yes, this episode is sponsored by Amazon Locker.
Nice.
What color Joy-Con did you get?
So I finally got the classic red and blue. Neon red and blue. So now I've got red and blue, pink and lime green, the 2 black colors.
That's a good collection you got there.
That's nice. That's a good collection.
I want the yellow ones really badly.
I do have the yellow ones. I want the special edition Pikachu Eevee ones, but we're not getting into that right now. Andrew, tell me a little bit about what you've been playing or what type of shopping experiences you've enjoyed the most. Yeah, Andrew.
I haven't been playing a lot of Nintendo.
Just going to delete him from the show.
You can be honest here with us.
I've been playing that Spider-Man. Got to play that Spider-Man.
And new Spider-Man DLC out tonight as of recording, so that's very exciting.
That's right.
Looks and Andrew and I have also been playing quite a bit of Destiny. A lot of Destiny 2.
That's true.
A disgusting amount, frankly.
I sort of forget about that because it's
just kind of part of your life. It's like we don't come on the show and report eating. We don't report sleeping,
we don't,
bathing,
exactly.
grinding Destiny 2.
Of course we do that. Of course we play Destiny.
So do you have another podcast dedicated just to Destiny?
Just Destiny, we do. We don't really have the fan base there yet to talk about it, but once we kind of get there, we'll kind of soft launch it. In any event, let's talk a little bit, boys, about the news since we have last recorded in a little segment we like to call
Being in the News. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not.
Sure, I like it. The games that come out that we're going to talk about are 4. Mega Man 11, Dark Souls, Starlink, Battle for Atlas, Super Mario Party. So those are 4 games that we've can be talking about here, and we're going to kick it off a little bit. You know what? Let's kick it off with Mario Party. So Matt, you mentioned it already, and I thought it might be a good little point of reference to bring up the review. This is just the IGN review, and to kind of give it a little for the listeners who might not have paid attention to this. So they have given it a 7.3 good, and they write, Super Mario Party is the best Mario Party in 2 console generations, which is faint praise. But even with a few real winners among the 80 minigames, which is very small, the party might get stale. Matt, your thoughts? You have 90 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. I think after playing it for the last week or so, pretty frequently, it feels like the Mario Party I grew up with. We all grew up with. At least like 1 through 4, it feels a lot like that. The games are really fresh. It feels like just back to like the star and coin grinding. And it's the mini games are really fun. However, the Joy-Con thing's a bummer. It feels like right now there's just not enough boards to play on. 4
boards. There's not enough boards.
Yeah, and it feels like it's just like waiting for a big DLC drop at some point, right. Including characters, dice rolls, more mini game options. Don't like that I can't play. The 4 of us can't play. Right. I think it was maybe Nintendo Voice Chat was talking about this. Or some other group. But most of us are the millennial group that grew up playing this game. None of us are all like living next to our buddies anymore. And I mean, this would be great. It'd be great to jump on and be able to sit down and play with your friends. And I know it's kind of, you're playing anywhere from 60 minutes to 120 minutes. Well, yeah, if you've signed on to play with your friends, ideally they're going to
commit to it.
Stick it out.
Yeah, considering Nintendo has no real matchmaking system of note in really any game besides the things in Splatoon and whatnot that you would think it's going to be their friends. You have this voice chat phone app, you think people would commit enough, because for those of you who are not aware, the multiplayer, you can play some mini games with people who also have the game, but you cannot play a full board game. So it's very limited.
Yeah, there's a leaderboard system. It actually is very helpful to do that because it prepares you for future games against your friends to just really get good at some of the mini games and coin grabs and all that stuff. Mini games are really fun. They're classic Nintendo. I feel like the game looks good in general. I like the dice mechanic. I know you've probably all seen that Reddit post of the gentleman that, like
the most lucrative characters to play.
Right. So I've tried to play with some of those characters, and I've found it the caveats are real caveats. I've found myself losing stars because I would roll into a -2 coin when I was really hoping for that 10 or 9 roll. And it screwed me over. But other times it's worked like a charm, and I'm like, sweet, I'm leagues ahead of everyone right now. So. Right. Overall, I like it. It's been exactly what I wanted on the Switch in terms of local co-op fun from Nintendo.
I like that. My impression so far. So Andrew and I, we've played a match, and but the first time we attempted to play, we got to our buddy's house, and like you already mentioned, it requires you to use the Joy-Con control only. But this is not really well advertised via the game itself, and back in the golden age of the Wii, you turn over the back of the Super Smash Bros. Brawl box, and there would be 14 different control schemes that it would support. It's you can use Wiimote or the nunchuck or the GameCube controller or the classic controller. There's a list, and although that was a mess, it does highlight this inconsistency, I think, of the Switch. Of console I very much enjoy, but it does have this aspect where it's Nintendo always has a ton of controller baggage in their consoles, and they have since the DS, really. And it's it makes you think, for me, it's from a game preservation standpoint, it's how are you going to play some of these games on the next console? I'd say there is some type of backwards compatibility, not that Nintendo's really ever been known for that, but how would you play games that require just the Joy-Con or just a Pro Controller? Or really it's like those limitations. Same thing goes for like, it'd be great to have a Skyward Sword remaster, but you couldn't really do it without, the IR sensor
Right.
the Wii had. So in any event, so I do think it suffers from that because we tried to play with a buddy and his Joy-Con were not charged. And so it was like, well, this is the end of that. And that was the end of that match. And then we played again later. And
it is so silly. Why? I mean, so many people bought extra Pro controllers and the little grip things. Like, I mean, it's just unfortunate that this is the case. Especially, it's like I want to be able to lie on my couch and hold my Switch in my hand in handheld mode and play against people online. Like, I don't understand how that's so hard. But
yeah, I agree. It's like it does. The Switch is all about the flexibility of going from the grip to the Joy-Con or the Pro Controller or whatever. And this is like, but you got to play this way. Same thing goes for the games where it's like, hey, you can only play it touchscreen or what have you.
So who won this match?
Doesn't matter who won.
Andrew,
No one
or-
really knows for sure. No one really knows.
Wasn't either of us.
It was just a friend of ours who was
Yeah, it was neither of us.
Sounds like you.
just crushing us. It was very embarrassing.
Just
Not even a
shrekking
gamer.
us.
Not even a gamer.
Shrekking us.
I will say
Straight
this. Andrew, what were your general thoughts on Super Mario Party?
I enjoyed what we played. We played a pretty short game.
It was the short
It was like a
turn round, 60
Yeah, 10
estimated minutes.
10
Yeah.
rounds.
And that was like plenty for me, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if I could stand. I mean, it was fun, but I think
Right. Anymore, and it's
Yeah, it
a
would-
drinking game at that point.
yeah, anymore, and the lines get drawn real quick, and you can tell who's going to win.
Right. Yeah, we got
Most of
way
the time.
skunked, even with like we got the blue space star or whatever the end. Like we were so far lost, and we all played fine at the mini games, but it was like one of our fellow players had the best position, just happened to be next to where Toadette handed out the stars. Mario Party
Yeah.
is a game, a lot of randomness, and that's just kind of part of the party fun feel. It's like you don't really know, and it does kind of level the playing field in some way. And I think the mini games overall are pretty strong. Like I do actually think the HD Rumble works pretty well, and I enjoy using the Joy-Con for like whatever, like the grip the rope up the flagpole thing, or like the stake cube. And I think there's a pretty good mix of those. Not many games though, not many boards, and it kind of. So I have a little bit of a theory in it, or in general, kind of a thing I've been forming. So we all love Nintendo for the exclusives, right? Our Zelda, Mario Kart. But there's kind of like two tiers of Nintendo games, and I think it feels more apparent. I think maybe because I'm more invested in the Switch than maybe I was. I mean, I bought a lot of Wii U games and yada yada, but it's really the thing I play most of the time. And I think the discrepancies have started to show more so. So you have tier 1, which is Mario Kart, Zelda, core Mario games, and probably Pokemon, right? Not just Nintendo developed, but you get the idea. Games are like, these are the 10, Smash, and like these are the 10-pole games everyone's talking about. These are the hype things. And then you get these other little things that just kind of floated out there. And I actually put Splatoon in that first thing too. Like just a lot of attention placed in it. But there's this second tier, and it's it's fun, and you get to see your friends Dry Bones and Spike, and whatever random Koopaling character that you don't care about, or not even the Koopaling, like the reject not Koopalings, like the gal and the guy.
So tennis,
and it's like yes, exactly. It's like all the like. How many Mario sports games have there been in the last like 5 years? Not only has it been did we get tennis, but also we have. There's tennis on the Switch, but there's like the Mario Sports Mix on the 3DS, and there's Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games pretty consistently. And it's like, and I do think Mario Party, even though maybe it's at the higher end, it falls into this camp where it's like these games feel quite rote, even though the core is fun. Like tennis plays really well, and Mario Party plays fine, but it's like. They have this aspect to them where basically they just feel like they're almost made by not quite committee, but just like, hey, we need a Mario Party to fill out this year's release cycle. You guys know what to do. Make 80 games, make it 4-player, put the same Mario characters in it that have been in basically every one, like no interesting cameo characters.
And they've gotten better at it too. I mean, these characters look good. Like like it looks like
Previously,
a good
they were
game.
made by like Hudson and whatnot, and they didn't maybe look quite as sharp. They looked like, oh, these are almost off-brand models or like old models. Like everyone's still using like the GameCube model, and it's like on the Wii U is how it felt. And it looks better. Tennis looks better, but it's like there's just a level of kind of thoughtlessness, I think, where it's like there isn't the multiplayer in this. There's not, you can't do duos multiplayer in tennis for some reason. Tennis, you can't choose a court. You can only choose your anti-Bizarro knock courts. You know, it's like you can't use the rackets you unlock in tennis. You like can't, there is no great like tournament mode for doubles. Like it's just missing all these obvious things where it feels like people made it, someone worked on the mechanics, did it. Someone worked on the courses, did it, and just kind of put it in the box and shipped it. No one, like, I think, put like the fine tooth comb, run over of like, oh, what if we did it like this? Like, what if we changed it like that? Or like, instead it feels very just like checkbox. And that's ultimately how Mario Party feels too. Like winning a Mario Party, it doesn't have like a lot of fanfare, it's just like victory and then it's like immediately over. Like the Toad lobby, when Toad opens a match, he's like, do you want to know the tutorials? And you're like, no. And then like 2 seconds later he's like, oh, that's an item, let me tell you about it. And you're like, Toad, we just went over this. We just had this social contract where you weren't gonna Toad explain to me like how to use a mushroom. And then it's like it just feels like nobody thought to check that or like to really just kind of, I don't. That's my impression. So I still think the game is fun, but it just feels it's disappointing because it reminds you of the Nintendo that kind of swings and misses at like the easy stuff or like makes the weird decision that it's not for the best.
It's like weird. It's like the core things are great in the game, and then it's just like, well, but this could have been the best.
They needed like a little director with like a new vision instead, and and I think maybe part of it, like you're kind of touching on, is like these games don't change a ton, right? Like Mario Party is not that different. It doesn't have the cart, but it's not that different of a game, and like whereas like Zelda Breath of the Wild is like total reinvention. Odyssey like finds a new mechanic and it's not just Galaxy 3. Like Smash is a greatest hits to some degree, but like you see all the content they're adding and it's exciting. Like Pokemon totally changes time to time in big mechanical ways. And so like they need like more of a creative director to point to on those games. And I mean, I could not tell you who directed any of those, let alone like who actually developed it within Nintendo. And I think they want that to be intentional. So you don't really see like, it's they have Nintendo EAD and various divisions within Nintendo that make the great stuff. But then it's like, you don't really have like Camelot made tennis, but I don't know really what the pedigree of that is versus the Camelot that made the Game Boy Advance tennis. So a bit of a rant, but that's how I'm feeling on tennis. Anyway, 5 out of 5.
So what else came out? What else are we going to talk about?
Let's Dark Souls came out on the Switch. Matt, would you like to read the IGN review? Andrew, you have played the Dark Souls. Andrew, do you want to tell us your previous Dark Souls experience? Don't spare any detail, buddy.
Well, I played it on Xbox 360, and I hated it.
Really?
Okay.
I hated it a lot. It was
okay. Tell us how you feel about it.
I mean, I bought it. I was like, let's give it a try, and I sort of got into it, and then it was just I couldn't do it. It's just too hard.
What did you bounce off of? The difficulty mainly, or
it was. That wasn't really it. It was a lot of it. Honestly, had to do with the aesthetics. Like the
I'm with you on this.
Just the font they use and like the UI is just.
It is kind of a mighty ugly mess, and I don't want to be a Dark Souls hater. I know this is going to really differentiate us from other podcasts, and we don't want that.
Leave us.
We want to be the same podcast as everything else, and this is straying from the path. But I agree, it looks so hideous, and really fast. When I played that network test, I was like, I don't know if this is jank because of how Dark Souls is, or is it jank based off of the like port to Switch? And the answer is, it's Dark Souls jank. Because Matt, read us the review.
So the verdict from IGN on this was that the Dark Souls Remastered, which is what this is on the Switch, is a technically better version of an already exceptional game. While the Switch version may lack some of the higher end features available on other platforms, it still presents a more pristine version of the original. And importantly, adds the exciting and absorbing dimension to explore Lordran on a portable device. Is that the name of the land here?
Yeah, I know him.
The land of Lordran. So 9.5. So it sounds like it's a like I've never played Dark Souls. I hear about it all the time. I feel like all IGN, Nintendo Voice Chat talks about it all the time. It's become a drinking game word on their show basically. So. Dark Souls. Is it worth someone like me who's kind of in a game lull right now on the Switch to pick up versus all the other like great content on there?
So it is only $39.99. It is like something I'm interested in playing. The review is funny because it's like, yeah, it is true. But for a game that it's like a technically better version of the game, missing features from other consoles. It's like the first two lines. It's a little funny because basically this is the remaster, but the remaster came out on PS4 and Xbox and PC earlier this year. And when it came to those platforms, it ran at 60 and had new lighting effects and whatnot, where this is much closer to how it was when Andrew played it on the 360. It's at 30 frames per second and it misses most of those graphical improvements. So there are purists out there, to not surprise anyone, who would like the idea of this version because it's closer to the one that they first loved. But it is not quite as robust as the other options, and it is $40 is still kind of a lot for a not super touched up 360 game. However, it is on the Switch, and we like everything, there's a magic to that we just simply cannot deny. Dread it, run from it. The Switch drives. But let me ask you, on each one of our games, we're going to play a little game here. It's going to be a pass it or play it. So Mario Party, we've already played it.
Didn't buy it, so maybe I passed.
Yeah. Pass or play it. Yeah, played it.
Andrew's passed. No, that's fine. Okay, it. Dark Souls. Andrew, are you a pass it or a play it?
Not that it's not good. It's not for me.
Yeah, Andrew's the pass. Matt?
I'm probably a pass right now. Right. I think it could be for me, but down the road, I feel like there are other games like the next game we're going to talk about. I'd probably pick up over this.
Yeah, Mega Man 11. Okay, and then for me, I think I will play it. I just don't know when, but I feel like a pressure to do it only because, like Matt, you said, everything is always like, this game is the Dark Souls meets, Zelda roguelike game. Like it's such a, such an adjective used to describe everything as the Dark Souls like experience. And it's really one I'm missing. I played Neo on PS4, but really that's it. So I'm a big fake gamer boy, and I'm sorry anyone wasted their time listening to this podcast. Next up, Mega Man 11. I have been playing this. We're going to keep this one short. So it is a play, and I think it's honestly one of the best Mega Man perhaps in years because of this. There's a dual gear system, and it got a 7.5 from IGN. Good, not revolutionary. Mega Man 11 feels like classic Mega Man game. Is a good foundation for the next 10 games. Okay, all right, well, confirmed. A Mega Man cinematic universe, but what it does so well is it has this means you can do slow down time, and in doing so, it makes a lot of the platforming cheapness of the other Mega Man games, in my opinion, feel more manageable because you can react in a way that often in old Mega Man games and even more recent ones, things will happen where you'll kind of leave the screen for a second, come back in, the enemy will respawn, they hit you, you fall off a ledge. It doesn't feel fair. It feels like a cheap shot. I never felt like the placement was very good of the enemies, whereas Castlevania was a series I enjoyed a lot more. It felt like enemies were placed in areas that were fair, but still challenging because of the mechanic of the enemy. A lot of Mega Man deaths are like, I was hit by this thing and I fall off the cliff. It doesn't feel, like you have as much control. The slowdown time thing really fixes for that. Also, there's a shop and you can buy upgrades. And these upgrades, I feel, really help. They go a long way to make you feel like you can kind of overpower stuff. So there is like a fun grind element to it that makes the game way easier, way easier. And I've enjoyed that because it's like even when I die, I have a feeling of like, well, I got a few more bolts or whatever, studs. And then it feels like I'm working towards something. So I've enjoyed that. And then lastly, we're going to talk a little about, and Matt, I'm going to let you read the review for another Nintendo game that came out last week, not just on Nintendo platform, but a special twist for the Switch, which is Starlink.
Now, I thought you actually got a chance to play this, right, at PAX?
I did.
Mm-hmm. And your impressions were visually impressive, kind of waiting to figure out what the reviews were going to look like.
Yep, it felt a little slow, and I kind of missed the lightness of playing it, the Star Fox games, the more arcadey style. It looked good, though.
So, again, we're referring to IGN. We know, respect, and follow that news outlet.
We do enjoy it.
So, Craig Harris reviewed this. I don't know if folks... I don't know. If you're listening to this show, then you're just a hardcore Nintendo podcast listener, and hopefully you know Craig Harris. Back in the day when I first started listening to any podcast, it was a good old Nintendo voice chat, and Craig Harris was on the show, and it was cool to see him back on this week to talk about Starlink. So it was a 7.0. Craig Harris notoriously gives just a solid number. He does not give any sort of decimals until he was kind of forced to do that, but I don't know that shaped why he gave it a 7.0, but that's a good on the IGN scale. And the verdict was, with or without the unnecessary toys, though I do like the
All toys are necessary.
I do like the R-Wing. Starlink Battle for Atlas is a commendable space adventure. Even with the repetitive grind and randomly scattershot space combat, this is a great-looking, gratifying game of strategic action and environmental exploration. Switch owners are undoubtedly the winners, but there's something here to enjoy on any platform. Short and sweet, concise verdict. The full review is up on IGN, and I really their review is great. I think it's pretty thorough. But I think on the pickup drop off or whatever the thing we're doing,
Yeah, that's right. You got it right.
I'm gonna pick this up.
All right.
And I'm going to buy the digital version. I think you can get the digital normal version, and then the Premiere or whatever, the Prime version, I guess, which comes with all the DLC. And it's a way better value than if you were to actually go out and buy all the things, Toys to Life wise. So, what are your thoughts?
Boys to Life. Andrew, why don't you hit us with your thoughts first?
Honestly, I haven't been very excited for Starlink ever.
Not even with Star Fox?
I mean, it's cool, but I'm just like not, I don't know. It's just not like my thing.
Right.
Not even with your friend Peppy Hare in that? You've always really connected
Star
with him.
Fox has really sort of just failed us, you know? It's just sort of.
Oh, I
So,
know.
it was
I don't
funny
want to let him
because
go quite yet.
Craig on the recent show was talking about how Star Fox is like it's not a Star Fox game, but it wasn't a half-baked version of like our idea to put Star Fox in the game. Like all the characters are in it, or most of the characters are in it. There's a huge side quest completely, or a whole campaign that you can play through with Star Fox. Wolf's in this thing, and ultimately though the conversation was like, this feels like a direction Star Fox could go and hopefully will go. But would that excite you, Andrew? If they were like, "Hey, Star Fox, like in the vein of No Man's Sky, is coming, and it's kind of a open world esque exploration," or what do they call it? Zelda?
I mean, if it was like an actual Star Fox game, yeah, that would definitely excite me.
Okay. You can go to Dinosaur Planet over again.
Just say it, buddy. Just be honest. You want to go to Dinosaur Planet, or you don't want to play at all.
Who doesn't want to go back to Dinosaur Planet?
Of course you want to go. I feel like you never left. That's where we last saw the happiest you. I would say that a lot of us, Tricky
throwing the ball to Tricky and collecting scarabs and going to Cape Cod.
Those horrible quick time events.
Remember the ones where you had to like get spooked, and the thing would like come by and spook you, and to like keep the meter in the middle. And it's like, are you gonna get spooked by this?
Yeah.
And the Guardian heads would talk to you, and then they're like, "Psych, it's Andros the whole time. I was talking out the back of my head. I'm very coordinated." My feeling is, I think I will play it at some point. I'll probably wait for a price drop. The other Ubisoft Nintendo Switch game, being Rabbids, did get a price drop pretty quickly. I definitely feel like it's fun to have Star Fox is such a tough character because we've talked about before on the show. Most of his games are bad, and I love Platinum games, and Star Fox Zero was really bad, and I can't barely
until
play it,
the deluxe version gets
coordinated.
released on Switch and they change up the controls.
It's just like every game for sure. Every game they make is Star Fox 64 again, or is bad, or it's adventure and it's very good. And so I feel like I love seeing Star Fox. I'll see him in Smash, and I can't wait. I'll probably wait for price drop, but I'm interested, in this. I do appreciate, as pretty much all reviews, Kotaku and otherwise have said, that there's a lot of Star Fox presence. Yeah. And the cutscenes they've shown, like Wolf, and he's like chewing on the thing, or like the Star Fox, and he's like there with his other alien friends. That's neat. Like, that is exciting to me.
Right.
And so,
that's cool.
I like that. Okay, well, let's move on. I say we jump right to our ANP headliner, just as the show is getting long. So when we return from this ad break, I'm sure the ads will, they'll contact us and we'll kind of drop it right in. But when we return, we're going to talk about our big story of the week, which is
Nintendo Switch Redesign. It's coming. Wall Street Journal let us know about it, and we've all been thinking about what we want. So
okay, so join us in a moment. Here we go. And we're back for another Nintendo podcast. Don't touch that dial. We're here to talk about
Don't touch that Toda dial.
ANP headliner, which is the Nintendo Switch redesign. Matt, give us a scoop on it.
So a few weeks ago, the Wall Street Journal reported, the Japanese Wall Street Journal specifically, that there was rumors and discussion around a redesigned, forthcoming 2019 release of an updated Switch console. They didn't go into too much detail, and I'm not looking at the article at this point because I know we've been hearing about this so much, but it's very reputable. Wall Street Journal usually pretty spot on with these things, and
Heard of it?
there's it all makes sense, right? I mean, many of us are proud owners of Nintendo's iterative devices, and a lot of people would say that Nintendo is kind of one of the pioneers in terms of, updating a device and putting it on the market within a year or two of a recent device. We have, how many of you had a DS Lite? I know after DS PHAT, I was right there ready for my black Lite. Now, actually, the DS Lite came out only in white originally, and then in black later. And I was like, I had to buy both because I wanted one.
Did you really?
I did.
I worked at GameStop at the time, and I was like, really wanted the black one. Looks so nice. This is a class thing I've talked about on the show before too, I'm pretty sure. But like PSP comes out in black, but then the white one comes out, and I'm like, dang, that's what I want. DS Lite comes out in white, and then I'm like, that black one though. It's like the Wii. It's like white, but then later you see the black redesign. It's like that's the thing I want. In any event, let's go through a little list of that. So
was there a black Wii?
Yeah, there was.
Did they ever actually? Did it come out? There was the mini that had like the red border.
There was a black Wii. Oh, yeah.
Because remember when they announced it, there was like a lime green one and things that never did come out at first.
I wonder if
It was like a blue, light blue, sky blue.
Yeah, but that never happened.
Yeah, the black Wii was real thing. You can
for sure real. Like, what did it come with?
Black Wii remote and
checks out.
That's all I know.
I think you're right.
I think I might need to pick one up.
Let's do that little game really fast. Right. I'm going to list a Nintendo console, and you tell me if you bought this redesign. Okay, here we go. The game starts now. Andrew, did you have an original Game Boy?
Yes, black.
Game Boy Pocket.
I did have a Game Boy Pocket.
Okay, you got Did you get a Game Boy Color?
Yeah.
Okay, what color was that? Just for fun. The colors are fine. I like the colors.
Teal. I got the teal one.
All right, excellent. We'll fact check that later. Matt, did you have a Game Boy?
Had a Game Boy.
Game Boy Pocket?
My older brother had a red Game Boy Pocket.
Okay, well, we won't let him hold that over you. No. And Game Boy Color, you get that?
Yes, the lime green one.
Oh, okay, very good. I had a Game Boy Pocket.
Wait, let me just hold on. Here's a kicker. I got the teal one. My sister got the Pikachu edition. Right?
Oh, God. She always has been a favorite of the Watson family. That one's so nice. Isn't that the one where Pikachu's like on it and he's like underneath the screen?
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
think so.
Video podcast, yeah.
And it's like yellow and stuff. Yeah, it's great. It's so jealous.
Hey, buddy, don't worry about it. You know what? You'll get one someday too, or you won't, and she'll only have it, and you never will. Okay, I had red Game Boy Pocket, purple see-through plastic Game Boy Color. Okay, Andrew, we're going Game Boy Advance. You have original Game Boy Advance?
I had a silver. Yep.
Okay, you also had the little Donkey Kong statue with the bobblehead thing that it came with. I do recall that.
Thank you.
Oh, where is that thing?
I have it in my house. The Game Boy Advance SP. I don't have it. Do you have that?
No.
No. And then what about the Micro? Did you have that?
No, I really wanted the Micro.
I still want the Micro, and that day goes by where I don't think about that.
One of my friends has one, and he
No, we don't.
He hacked it, and he can put any game he wants onto it.
Oh, he's playing COD on there, Black Ops 9.
Yeah. Black.
Okay, Matt, Game Boy Advance, what color?
The crystal one, the see-through crystal or whatever it was.
SP?
Yep. Yeah, I had the SP.
That's the full
that's my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, so many memories of
It's the one I never had. The one with the
backlight. I played in bed for the first time. Oh, all of my Advance Wars.
Right, made Circle of the Moon playable. We all know it.
I was always cursed by streetlights.
I wish we can go. I wish I still had it on me. Just went on a road trip where a friend was playing Fire Emblem exclusively on a SP. And I got the Micro. I love the idea of the faceplates. I was super into it when it was announced. I still have it. It's at home. Pointless to play on. I was like, why would I?
It looks so
the
cool.
The SP is portable, just as portable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it was cool.
You could keep like 9 in one pocket. Probably you could let a whole family of mice hit all the buttons.
I beat the first Advance Wars on the small one. I replayed it on it just to say I could play the game on it.
Yeah, that's a really reflex-driven game. So that must have been a hard one to.
So hard.
Okay, and I had Game Boy Advance Purple and the SP with the brighter backlight. It was very nice. DS, we all have the DS Lite.
Okay. Yep.
Anyone have a DSi?
DS Fat, DS Lite, DSi. Yep.
I didn't get the DSi.
Did you have a DSi
You're better for
XL?
it. No.
No,
This is when I stopped.
I stopped after the DS Lite.
Yeah.
DS Lite was really classy looking. I liked the matte finish of the eye, and you did have the digital store for the first time, so you could do some little download games, but they're all trash. Okay, and then just run through all 3DSs you owned. Andrew, you did not own very many.
I owned the original. And then,
Purple or black?
Original 3DS was black or blue. Mm-hmm. With like the 3 layers of black color or blue, and it's like, yeah, it was really hideous. Loved it.
Oh god, that ugly thing. Yeah,
Blue was especially
I
bad.
remember that now.
Matt, what about you? You own the original?
Yeah,
3DS?
it was terrible.
sure.
I had the blue.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, I had the black 3DS, and I was the only kid in college walking around looking for Street Pass.
A lonely road. The only road that you would ever know.
Which is why I am the proud owner of the certificate.
Oh, yes,
on
the
my
ambassador
3DS.
program.
Ambassador program.
Yes, okay. I had that, the XL. Then did I also have the new 3DS XL? Absolutely. Did I also have the new 3DS faceplate version? You bet I did. Did I also have the 2DS XL? You know it. And it's really been a lovely thing, and I treasure it every day. And I still play that thing, so you know what? Worth the 5 versions of it I owned. Well, that was a good little segment. Thanks.
I have the Pokemon XY 3DS XL.
Right, but I think the great thing about 3DS is we saw so many great iterations of it. It had one major change with well, I guess you can argue 2, but in terms of hardware, the new 3DS and new 2DS share the same hardware, just minus the 3D, 2D stuff. But it got like a bump in speed and processing power, right? But overall, the same system. And I love that they kept coming out with like special editions of it that just drove people crazy. And I think that we will probably expect to see a lot of that from the Switch. So should we get into our what we want, what we think?
Let's wrap it up here. Matt, what would you like to see out of a Switch redesign?
All right. So as I've been traveling a lot over the past several months, I love better battery, which I think is coming. The screen, I think, is fine. I'm sure the screen can get better. Maybe, it's funny. We talk about bezels and everything but the Switch. I feel like, we're in a bezel-less world now, and the Switch has some pretty ugly bezels, but I've never minded that. But specifically for me, I just want the internals to be upped. I'd love to have more storage on the thing. I'd like it to be a little snappier. I'd love it to have whatever it needs to have a better online system and voice chat native to the system. So
I think that's a good read on it.
That's what I want.
Andrew, what would you like?
I'd like a little sturdier Joy-Cons, maybe, and maybe more comfortable.
Just for bigger hands, for big Andrew hands.
Yeah, well, they're perfect for me. I got tiny little hands. Actually.
Watchers of the video podcast can know. So, everyone kind of raise your hand.
But anyone else?
The thing is that's challenging. A lot of other shows have brought up is the Switch right now, the form factor.
I also want more customization.
Yeah, I would like that too. Little things to swap. I love the personalization of some of these special editions. There's the Diablo one announced for the dock. We got the Pikachu one coming up for Let's Go. And we also have the Super Smash Bros. Those are so neat, but it'd be cool to have more versions of it.
Let's get a coin block dock.
I will say before you go, Austin, I don't want everything I have better work. Now that I have 6 sets or 3 sets of Joy-Cons, I need them all to be able to slide onto this new thing. That's true. And I want to be able, I have 2 docks, and I want to be able for this to dock. I want to drop this Switch off at my girlfriend's place and say, hey, congratulations, here's your new Switch. And then
here's your new, in quotes. It's like the new 3DS where it's not new anymore, but it's still called new. I would say, I don't think the Joy-Con will change because of the limited form factor and the way those rails work. I don't think the screen size can really reasonably increase, but Nintendo always does crazy things. We got the 2DS from, so you never really know what risks they're willing to take, but I would just like to see the internals upped a bit. we talked about Dark Souls in 30 frames. It'd be nice if it could run in 60. It's not a new game. I've been playing some Dragon Ball Fighters on the Switch, which I have enjoyed, but the load times, not so great. Like everything, I think the screen looks good, and everything runs fine. But it would be nice to have snappier internals, and it would be nice to have a kickstand that could reliably stand, and it would be nice to have a better battery life. And I do think a new dock. You still want functionality of the old ones, but something that where you didn't have to. I know, Andrew, you've experienced this.
My screen is definitely scratched from my dock for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it. Just
like a light bend on it can really goof it up. And I think I like the look of the Nyko one, which definitely, if we talked about, don't use, it'll break your Switch. But I like the look of just placing it there. I think it's a lot more elegant than kind of the toaster thing too. Plus the way the toaster, you have to come in really straight from the top. And that makes it hard for me sometimes, on a shelf or what have you. It's I can't, there isn't enough vertical room, so it has to sit on the ground. A little change there.
I really think that we'll see a nice redesign. I mean, obviously it's coming, but I think if you just think about the DS Fat or the first 3DS, right? They were ugly. They were hey, we're trying to hit this concept of ours that we want to get to, and it's going to sell a bunch. But the redesigns, I think, is where they are okay, how do we be a little more aesthetically pleasing and a little more modern? And I'm excited to see, because now they have success on their hands, like they did with the DS, like they did with the 3DS. I think they just they're playing with house money now, right? They can
high rollers. Let's do it.
Really figure out. They are, and I really hope that we've talked on this podcast before about how Nintendo wanted to take an Apple approach, more of an Apple approach to their hardware, and they have the perfect system now, the perfect console to do that long term. I hope we live in a world of hybrid Nintendo consoles from here on out. I would like that to be the case. I think that's the world we're going to live in, actually, until we get to cloud-based, streaming. And when 5G comes out, hopefully Nintendo will have a console that'll take advantage of that. Right. But in the meantime, I'm excited to see what kind of sleek new hardware is coming out.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think it's all I think it's a good recap on it, and I don't doubt Nintendo will do something cool. And even if it's not cool, I don't doubt I'll be buying it. Boys, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say day one pickup. I'm day one. Andrew, are you day one down there?
Two.
Oh,
I like to sleep.
A little restraint. Oh, it's really sleep based.
Yes,
he's a snooze boy. There's no fault there.
Did you sleep in when you pre-ordered that Pixel 3 of yours?
I did. I just went there after work. I didn't even have to pre-order it. I just upgrade.
Hoorah! Smoke out. It's really
take a peek at this.
Hey, this episode brought to you by Google's Pixel 3.
Is that the large one that's hiding the notch, or is this not the notchless one?
There it is. How you like me now?
No, we don't have a notch. We don't have a notch.
Oh, we don't have a notch.
A no notch since phone.
Baby.
No notch. Hoorah!
Look at that chin.
All right, boys. Hey. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah. Thank you, listener, for joining us. This is going to be it. And to kind of close us out here, we're going to hit you with a little bit of a track from my impression of what Dark Souls sounds like. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to listen to a little bit of Mega Man 11. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week, probably. We hope so.